Hey guys, it's Kugli again with another ROM review, and this time I've got the Beanstalk version 7 for the OnePlus 3, so stay tuned for that. So guys, Beanstalk. Now, you probably are not unfamiliar with Beanstalk ROMs. Now, it has been around for some time now, ever since Jelly Bean came out. And it has been very good ROM for providing features onto any devices. It is based on CyanogenMod ROM, so you do have all those features which you would get with a CyanogenMod ROM, and it has a lot of extra features from AICP and other such popular ROMs. So that is really amazing. Now, the Beanstalk version 7 is a new ROM, which basically means it runs on Nougat, so that is Android 7.0. So as with any ROM which transitions from one version to another version, there are going to be issues. Even the stock official ones are going to have issues from one ROM to another. Now let's get to the ROM now. First of all, what you would see here is the this is the Nougat launcher lock screen, which is amazing, and you do have that. That's pretty amazing to see. I have been using this for some time now. Let's get out with the bugs. Now, the first and the biggest bug which I encountered in this ROM is that the camera is not working. You cannot use the camera. You cannot use the flash. Whatever you have, you cannot use the flashlight. And the camera module is not working. So that might be a problem. I have heard people were able to use a third-party camera application and get that to work. I personally were not able to use that, so that hangs in the balance. So if you have been, please do let me know. So yeah, let's get to the settings now and see what all are here. So in the about phone page, you can see this is Android version 7. So you do have the Easter egg is enabled now, and you can actually enable that. It is using CyanogenMod as a base. It does have the patch of September, so that is amazing to see. It does have the Cyanogen kernel, and the build number is this one. So yeah, SLNX is permissive, so you can see that. Developer options is enabled. You do have advanced reboot, stay awake, OEM unlock, all of that. Multi-process web view, which is another thing which I thought it was the multi-window, which I'll be getting into later. USB debugging is enabled with local terminal support, so that is also amazing for most people. You do have animation scale set to 0.75x, which is amazing. I really appreciate whenever a ROM does that out of the box, which is really amazing. Smallest disk for the secondary display can be selected here, so that is also pretty amazing. The rest everything is basically what you would expect out of any other developer option from any other ROM. Nothing special in Nougat. Let's get to the other stuff now. First of all, the settings menu is completely revamped, so you can actually set the fingerprint scanner, and the fingerprint scanner does work in this one. I didn't have any issues. I did use this for most of the time with the fingerprint scanner. It was working. I didn't have any missed issues with that. The CyanogenMod 14 didn't have the home button support. The home button was broken. I was not able to get that working, but in this ROM it was fixed. There's no problem. I'm able to use the home screen and fingerprint scanner, so that is really amazing. And you do have the suggestions here. Wireless network, you do have Wi-Fi, all of that is working now. It does have the NFC support, and it was able to recognize NFC. You do have cellular network, and it is able to use VoLTE, so that is something which might be important for people who are using the GeoSIM in India, so that is amazing. I actually really like that one. Now in the display options, you do have a few extra stuff, like live display is available, and I really appreciate that with the outdoor brightness mode, so that is amazing, and I really appreciate that because AMOLED screen, this particular AMOLED screen does not get very bright, so you might want to use that, so that is pretty amazing. Press power button twice for camera. Ambient display is available, and it is working, and I have actually used this pretty well, and you can actually have custom controls for it with fade in, visible duration, and brightness level also, so that is amazing. It does have double tap to wake, and the font size is something which you can change, and you do get a preview there, so that is amazing. I really like that. Also, you can change the display sizes in the Nougat stuff. So that is a Nougat feature, and that is something which I'm really excited about because I normally change the DPI whenever I install a ROM. Whenever I flash a ROM, the first thing I do is change the DPI setting, and with a stock-based ROM, you have to go through the INITD setup to change the DPI, and also you have to change the DPI using the terminal command. So that's a two-step process. Freedom OS does that automatically with the aroma launcher, so that is really cool. But this is a really cool feature. Now if you remove this to here, it doesn't even require a reboot, it just changes, and that is amazing. You have so much real estate here that it's sick. I really appreciate that. So yeah, that is really nice to see. Debug dashboard suggestions. You do have a dashboard suggestion. This is mainly the Beanstalk option. You can disable that. This was not available in CM13 ROM, I believe so. You do have battery life options where you can change all of that. You do have notification light options also where you can change all of these, so that is also pretty cool. In the notifications option, you do have options to select what all notifications appears. Now the status bar is different and the notification shade is different. You do have a lot of options here which you can actually go and see what all appears here. You can just customize whatever shows up, and that really works out. Now this is why, because well, I am using a VoLTE SIM card, so it is telling me device is HD capable because I have VoLTE enabled. So yeah, the notification drawer is also different, so you can edit that. You can add few options right now. There aren't much as of now, but I reckon it won't be much time before people start adding compass and all that. So yeah, this is the Android Easter egg, which is pretty amazing. I really like that. It is the cat food stuff, so you can actually enable that and get, I mean, I don't know, I'll just leave treats. So you can have that. Pretty nice. Sound option. In the sound option, you do have volume steps, do not disturb mode. All of these are available. Other sounds can be enabled or disabled, so that's also really nice. Now battery life. As you see, this is a new ROM and the support for this is kind of dodgy. So battery life, I've not been getting a very good battery life with it, but I can actually compare it to any other CyanogenMod based ROM. That is CyanogenMod 13, and that's not really bad for a first step. This is still in beta because a lot of stuff is broken, but still I don't really see people complaining about the battery life, so that is pretty amazing. And Nougat does have a lot of battery saving features. In-built dose mode is really aggressive and a lot of stuff is there. You might have to look into that. It does have the buttons layout enabler, and you can actually change whatever happens here. So this is the basic CyanogenMod layout. So you do have the recent button and home button selection, no back button, but you do have the volume button customizer, so that's also amazing. Now O-Click. Now this is something which has to do with the camera, which has to do with a accessory which I really don't know what this is, but this is there, and if you have that thing, you can use that. I don't know. Gestures is available where you have the lock screen gestures, so it does work out, but most of the stuff is for the camera, and all the camera is not working. So yeah, and the flashlight is also not working, so you might have to go somewhere else for that. So yeah, it just rebooted. So here is the boot animation for Beanstalk 7. It says 6 because it is recycled from the 6 version, but it's actually 7, just so you guys know. And there are reboot issues. I'm not gonna lie, I personally will not be using this as my daily driver because it does randomly reboot, and that causes a few problems, missed calls and all that, so that's not very nice. But still, it is a beta version, so I do give it a little bit of slack in there. Additional buttons, you do have the slider working, and it does work, and that is something surprising because normally not all the newer versions support the slider. So yeah, ambient display is available and you can customize most of the stuff here, so that is really cool. There you do have pickup, hand wave and pocket and enable. All of that does work out and I really like that. Now status bar customization is also available, and I am really happy to see that. Brightness control is available, show notification slider. So all of this, it does work out, and it does give you a really good, well, usable platform for most of the stuff. You do have clock styles which can be customized, and battery percentage, battery status style, battery AM PM indicator, all of that is available and to be customized, so that you do have a lot of options here, so that's really nice. It also has the kernel auditor option, so it does come with kernel auditor, and root access is available, so you can actually restore by the way, so you don't have anything to do with that. Kernel auditor is supported and it comes on board, so you do have a few customization options for the kernels. That is pretty much it in the settings menu. Now let me get about the usability. I've already told you guys that there are a few boot loop issues, and that's something which I don't think anyone is going to get around until a more stable version is there. So being a beta release, I wouldn't recommend this as a daily driver as of yet, but still there are a lot of adventuring people out there, so they're going to still use that and work with it. So let me just show you guys the benchmark score. The score is really low. Normally it's in the heart rate of 40,000 range, but the score here was 91,000 and it just boot looped. So the Antutu benchmark score was really low. It was in the 90,000 range rather than in the 130,000 range. So that is really cool. But hey, I do understand that this is a beta release, so that does, the scores are pretty low, but the performance is also pretty low because it is a beta release. So you got to understand that. So let's get into the feature set of Nougat. The biggest feature for me in Nougat is the recent menu quick toggle, which is amazing. I really appreciate that because you have the option to just change into the other one and with double tapping the recent menu, and that is really amazing. I know it's not a new feature for CyanogenMod users, but still I really appreciate that being integrated into the Android. So I believe that will be available with the stock ROM also. So that is amazing. So something else which is really interesting in the Nougat release is the ability for multitasking with the multi-window setup, which is amazing. I really appreciate that, and this is something which I really do wish that most people will be going through, and I do understand that. So you can actually control how much the screen area is allocated to each application, and this does work out in both modes. So that is amazing, and that's something which I really appreciate. I really do, and this is something which I can see myself using a lot more. So yeah, I guess that much is it about the ROM. Again, in conclusion, I just want to tell you guys, this is a beta ROM, as I've been telling you guys from the beginning. So you are going to expect a lot of bugs. I mean, at least some deal-breaking bugs. For me, the reboot issue is just too much, so that doesn't really give a good impression for me. Battery life is pretty good. As I've already said, I didn't hear many people complaining about the battery life. I do really appreciate that. Other stuff, it works. It works as a ROM should, and I haven't really checked out all the compatibility yet, but I will be doing that soon, and with the other releases I'll be getting you a few updates on that too. So yeah, I guess how much is it about the ROM. Hope you guys like the video. Please share, subscribe, and like the video if you found it useful. See you guys next time. Bye.